Good evening, beautiful people. Good evening, Lagos. You're tuning to Watch FM 94.9, and this is Mind Talk on your favorite station with Olusegun Odufua, also known as Dr. Slicks. Welcome to another thought-provoking edition of the show, where we talk about real issues, silent struggles, hidden victories, and those unspoken conversations that affect us all. Tonight, I'm going to be flying solo on the mic because my partner is just unavoidably absent, so I'm going to be doing this alone. But I know I'm not alone. I know you listeners are out there with me, and we're going to be having a fantastic conversation tonight. And I want you to join me in this interactive session, and so you can hit the studio lines. I'm going to be calling the studio lines in a few minutes, so you can just note it down and just call in once the conversation begins. So the question today is, what's going on at your end? Let's talk about it. Because Mind Talk is always about you and me connecting on life realities. Our focus tonight is something I like to call the pressure cooker. The pressure cooker. So what is the pressure cooker? Is that heavy feeling of coping with societal timelines. The pressure of getting married at a certain age, to hit success milestone before 30, to be climbing the career ladder faster than your peers. We'll try everything possible to unpack what this pressure does to us mentally, emotionally, and socially, and most importantly, how we can cope and rise above it. So, before we quickly take a short break, I'm going to be doing this, and I want us to, everybody listening out there, I just wanted to answer this beautiful question because I'm going to trade this question to you. Okay, so I just want us to reflect on something. I just want to reflect on something and look at it that, okay, what do you regret doing or not doing at all when you look back in time? What is it you regret doing ever or not doing? Maybe there was an action you were supposed to take or a decision you were supposed to make and you didn't make that decision. You were hesitating and just thought of it that, no, I don't think I want to do this. And years after, you look back and you begin to regret and say, had I known, if I had made that decision, if I had taken this step, maybe things would have been better. Or maybe it wouldn't have been what it is right now. So, the question of the day, what do you regret doing or not doing when you look back in time? This is not about guilt tripping. It's about reflection, because sometimes we look back and wish we had taken an opportunity, spoken up when we kept quiet or waited instead of rushing. Other times we wish we hadn't done something at all. Your story, your lesson, your reflection could be what inspires someone else tonight. So hit the phone lines. This is the studio line 09060992609, 09060992609, or 07041007949, 07041007949. Like I said, two things on the table tonight. The first one is we're going to be having a conversation talking about the pressure cooker, that heavy feeling that when you talk about coping with societal timelines, because everything, one way or the other, we always give ourselves a bit of timeline, and there's pressure everywhere. Personally, you give yourself some timelines. Family-wise, your family is giving you a bit of timeline. Society-wise, everybody's looking up to you, saying that, okay, you ought to have done this, you ought to have done that. Everywhere you turn to, there's a bit of timeline everywhere. And so we'll be looking at it, how does it affect us mentally, socially, emotionally, and what do we need to do, and how do we intend to rise above it. And also, the question of the day, like I said, it is, what do you regret doing or not doing at all when you look back in time? The question is there, so you can hit us up, talk to us, let us have this conversation. I'm going to be flying solo, like I said. I'm going to be doing this with you guys tonight, and let us have a beautiful conversation. This is Mind Talk with Dr. Slicks. So, we'll take a short break. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned and stay well right here on Wash 94.9 FM.
Yes, you're welcome back to Wash FM 94.9, and the program is Mind Talk with Olusegun Odufuwa, also known as Dr. Slicks. And today we're talking about something very interesting, and we have two major talking points tonight. And so we have the conversation, and we have a question for every one of our listeners out there. So the topic for tonight is called the pressure cooker, talking about how do we cope with societal timelines. And also the question for the day is just for everybody out there. We're talking about reflecting tonight. And the question we're asking you today is, what do you regret doing or not doing when you look back in time? And so you can join us on this conversation. You can call the studio line 09060992609, 09060992609, or you call, okay, I think we have a call. Hello, good evening. Okay, so you can call the line. Let me just call the numbers again. 09060992609, 09060992609, or 07041007949, 07041007949. You can also send a WhatsApp message, a voice note, or a text message to 091-584-94949, 091-58494949. I call it again, 091-58494949. Drop your messages, send a WhatsApp message, a text message, or a voice note to hear your views, or just answer the question for the day, or just drop in, something about coping with societal timelines. So, when we talk about societal timelines, in Nigeria, societal timelines are everywhere, because it's not just even peculiar to Nigeria. It's just about everybody. From the moment you graduate from the university, particularly, but nowadays it's not even up to university level. Sometimes once you're done with your SSC, once you're done with your secondary school education, the pressure starts, from there. It depends on the kind of family you're from. Some parents will wait for you till you graduate from the university. Some will even tell you that, okay, don't worry, after your BSc education, we even support you to have your post-graduate education. And immediately afterward, they're like, okay, the clock is ticking and the pressure starts, coming. And for some, it's just about your SSCE. Once you're done with secondary school education, the clock just starts ticking, and the clock begins to tick almost immediately. And for many people, I think there's this is more or less like an acceptable age, kind of. But from what has been happening when you talk about, okay, I think we have a call. Good evening. Good evening. Okay, I don't know what's happening to our phone lines tonight, but I guess you can just keep calling. Please just keep trying. 09060992609, 07041007949. And you can drop your WhatsApp message. If you're trying the phone lines and if it's acting up, just drop a message on our WhatsApp line, 09158494949, 09158494949. So like I was saying, it depends on the kind of family you're from, because this conversation, differs from culture to culture, from family to family, and so there is no universal age where all of these things start from. Most times it's more or less like, okay, but there's an average. There's like a cutoff. Most families will wait for you till maybe once you're like 24, 25, 26, and now the questions start coming in. When are you going to get married? And the moment you're still dilly-dallying, like, okay, they look at you. Once you clock 30, on your 30th birthday, the question comes again. Madam, when are you going to get married? And if it's a male child, it's more or less like, oh boy, when are you bringing a wife home? I want to see my grandchildren, And when you now begin to dodge those questions, the pressure just keeps coming and coming up. And particularly, imagine you still staying with your parents at 30 or 32. The next thing is like, if you do anything in the house, the next question you just say that when you go to your house, you do that. Okay, yeah. Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening. Your name and where you're calling from?
My name is Beauty. I'm calling from Lagos.
Okay, Beauty, good evening. How's the day been?
Today I've been nice. I think the early morning rain that fell at my area kind of made the environment cool. Yes, so maybe that is God's way of trying to use the pressure cooker, just like you said.
But the traffic, I hope the traffic didn't add to the pressure.
So I left before, you have to time it, when the traffic jam will be high and low period. So you try to avoid it at such time. So that's what I used to say.
Okay, so when you talk of timing, the question is, okay, so how have you been able to cope with timelines? Basically, we live in a society whereby everybody just begins to time everything. When you're 25, when you're 30, when you're 40, you should have achieved this, you should have gotten this. So, what has it been with you?
Well, one thing I know that, like this age we are in now, since after COVID, a lot of people work from home, so many businesses you can now transact, some, not all, from the comfort of your house, and then see how you can find. So that's how I've been able to cope during the traffic tight time, And somehow a lot of people now understand, they know the way the traffic flows. So they say, oh, it's so bad though, by this time, let's move it to time up or down. There's adjustment, flexible time, so with that somebody can, can be able to get through with it. Then the second question that you asked.
Yeah, talking about what is it, when you talk about, we're talking about reflection tonight, and the question is more or less like, okay, what do you regret doing or not doing when you look back in time?
What I regret doing was marrying my ex-husband. Yeah.
Regret doing that?
Yes, I regret it. If God were to ask me to say, okay, I want to roll back some years, where should I roll it back for you to start? I will ask him to roll it back. When I got married to him, in fact, back to when we met and cut off that path away. So that's my regret, one of my big regrets.
Wow. I'm sure that if you want to talk about that, that will take you like a whole day talking about it, because when you're talking about regretting, and that's quite a very huge one. I hope you've got it over it right now.
Yes, I have.
So are you married? Have you remarried again?
No, I haven't yet.
Is it the fears of what happened before that is making you not get married again?
Well, it's not the fear of it, but sometimes it has kind of sharpened your senses, and when you just look at wrong behavior, you tag it as a red flag. So I don't know if that is a good thing or if it has made someone to be too sensitive. That some things that you may not really look at as something. Right now, all your antennas are off. Somebody put up on video like, oh, the red flag. It was something my ex did, and at the end of the day, even though I tried to cope with it, to be understanding, it still didn't work out. So, stuff like that.
Very interesting, but I think you need to heal up because when you begin to hold up things like this, and you begin to become too sensitive around your probably to be partners, and you're not giving them that opportunity, or you're very sensitive, in every area, then it means that you've not totally healed from your past experience. And I think you need to work on that so that you heal up totally, and so that your mind can accept somebody into your life, and at the end of the day it becomes very beautiful. But I wish you all the very best. Thank you for talking to us, and this is a very quite interesting discussion.
All right.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay, so that was Beauty on the line, and that's quite interesting. And she said one of the things she regrets ever doing is marrying her ex-husband. I don't know what is your own regret. So what do you regret doing or not doing at all when you look back in time? So back to the discussion we're having, talking about the pressure cooker, coping with societal timelines. And like I said, in this part of the world, people just begin to give timelines. Even you can begin to give yourself timelines, because when you're in the at the time you're in the secondary school about graduating, more or less everybody's like, okay, once I'm done with secondary school, okay, I'm going to be in the university, I'm going to get admission, and once I get admission, once I'm done with university, I'm going to work in this organization, I want to do this, by 25, I want to be this, I want to do my master's abroad. You give yourself timelines as an individual. And aside from giving yourself timelines, your parents also begin to give you timelines as well, begin to question you and tell you that, okay, once you're this age, you should have achieved this, because they begin to do that comparative analysis with other people and all that. And so all of these things come bombarding you all the time. And the moment you're trying to achieve all of those things and it doesn't come to pass, then the pressure starts coming to you. So, and looking at achieving your own personal success, then the bombshell comes, marriage, which is very big, and the moment you're like, okay, when am I going to get married and all that, and finally, if you're able to maneuver all of those things and find a very beautiful person, a beautiful soul to get married to, the next pressure starts again when we lose at having children. And it now, some parents would even tell you, particularly mothers will tell you that, okay, I want a boy as your first, I want a girl as your first, all of those things now begin to come. And, for men, the pressure often revolves around financial success, financial status, and all of those things. And for women, it is more about marriage, children, and balancing career with family. These are all the things that comes bombarding you almost every day of your life, and the clock just keeps ticking and ticking and ticking and ticking. And unfortunately, where are the good guys out there? Where are the good girls out there? To get married now, it can't be like saying, nah, jam with the right, because, you begin to look at where is that beautiful girl with a beautiful soul, beautiful heart, very resourceful, very industrious. Are you sure there are still girls like that out there? And the question is, when you ask the ladies, they're like, oh, where is it? There's no good guy out there. Oh, all these guys are, Question mark. So join the conversation. It's going to be very interesting here. Like I said, I'm going to be flying solo on the MIC tonight because my partner is just not available tonight. So you can join us. Call the studio line 09060992609, or you call 070410074949, or you can drop a message on our WhatsApp, or a voice note, or a text message 09158494949. So join the conversation, and so let's just talk about it. And like I said, the question tonight is, what do you regret doing or not doing when you look back in time? That's the question for the day, while you can also join the conversation. So what does this pressure do? What does it really do to us? When you talk about this pressure, I remember my own first pressure. My own first pressure started when I was trying to gain admission into the university. I remember this. It was quite tough. I'm from a family of 5, and I'm the last child of the family, and from my first to the second to the third and to the fourth. Once they finish their secondary school education, they write the entrance examination to get into the university. Boom, they get the admission. The first child did it, no issues. Second child did it, no issues. Third child did it, no issues. Fourth did it, no issues. And it got to my own turn. I thought it was just going to be like, it is a family tradition. And I got stuck. And I was wondering, what's going on? Our village people did not follow the first or second or third or fourth. Why are these people following me now? What's going on? And lo and behold, I wrote JAM 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 good times before I finally gained admission into the university. And those 5 times means 5 good years of my life being wasted. And it was a tough period for me because the pressure started taking, from taking the first entrance exam. Okay, I'm still young. People think you're still young. You're like, okay, let's keep going. Second year, third year, and you're like, what's going on? And the funny part with all of these things is that from the first year, your colleagues, your peers that you wrote the exam together, some of them will get admission and some of you are still not there. And you write the second year. And so it's more like, back then there was no WhatsApp, but, one way or the other, we formed we had a group, because once the form is out, somebody will just call. Do you know that the form is out? You call each other and everybody knows that, okay, the form is out. And once we write the exam, we all go back, find a way to, put ourselves in the same center or exam hall. At the end of the day, you write the exam, the results are out, and the next thing, people are calling you. Have you seen your result? Have you seen your result? Because people are even worried for you. Even you yourself, you are not as worried as other people who are even not your members of your family. And they keep calling you and putting pressure like, okay, how is it this year? Did you make it this year? Did you make it this year? And lo and behold, I did it for 5 years until finally I was able to break the jinx, because it was as if I was jinxed. When you write an exam for 5 good years, 5 times every year writing the same exam, and it became very frustrating. And so there's a lot of things all of this kind of pressure puts to you. Number one is it affects you mentally, and it creates a bit of anxiety. You begin to have self-doubt, and most damaging can be when you now begin to feel inadequate, which it can be very, very damaging. First of all, it starts with a bit of anxiety. You're anxious, you're nervous, you're wondering like, okay, because you're under pressure and you want to really achieve this thing. And if you keep trying and things are not working out, you now begin to doubt yourself and begin to look at yourself that, can I really do this thing? Can I really achieve this thing? Because you begin to question yourself. You begin to question your self-worth. You begin to question yourself and begin to wonder that, am I even good enough? And that's when you begin to feel inadequate, which is very, very dangerous. Very, very dangerous. Particularly, it could be trying to even get married or even have a child. And you keep trying and trying and trying. You've been in this relationship, it's not working. You've spent 4 years in this relationship. At the end of the day, you break up, you start another one, it doesn't work again. And you just keep trying and trying and trying. And at the end of the day, you just begin to have this thick skin like, I don't tire. I think relationship is not for me. Or marriage is not for me. And that's what you keep on hearing nowadays. Oh, this is not for me, this is not for me. And truly, it's not because it's not for them, but it's just because it keeps failing. And all of these things begin to affect them. And even when you're making progress, you constantly begin to feel that you're behind, you're being left behind compared to your other peers, because you have a lot of friends out there. I remember a friend of mine who, at the age of, when he clocked 40, he was he attempted to commit suicide. And why did he attempt it? Because he realized that all his friends within that age range that they grew up together are doing well, they have a good job, they're all married, they have children, and he's the only one left behind. No job, no wife, no child. And he just looked at himself that, okay, what am I celebrating 40 years for? 40 years of what? And he felt like he was a failure, and he attempted suicide. Only for, thank God that one of his family members was around and was able to rescue him at the end of the day before he went for counseling, and he was able to, we were able to just manage him, and at least he's much better now, and he's able to, he has gotten a job now, and is doing well for himself. But at that point in time, if nobody was around him, the story would have been probably a sad tale. And so that's how it feels, because you begin to feel left behind at the end of the day. So the next one is, it affects us emotionally. And this leads to resentment, frustration, and fear of failure. You become very resentful, become very frustrated. And if care is not taken, that frustration can lead to aggressive behavior. You become very aggressive. You become very sensitive. our caller just mentioned her own experience when she's talking about what happened with her and her ex-husband, and that has made her very sensitive. That has made her like have that eagle eye, like wanting to question everything. And when all of this happens, you begin to fear, and you don't want to even go into any relationship anymore. You don't want to try new things. You don't want to take risk anymore because you fear that you might fail. And it's just a very tough one. So some people even begin to question their worth or identity. Like I said before, like you begin to have self-doubt. You begin to feel inadequate when all of these things happen to you. And so socially, what happens to you is that it pushes you into making rushed choices. It pushes you into making rushed choices. And entering marriages we are not ready for, taking jobs that don't fulfill us, living for appearances just to silence societal voices. That's what just happens. You see some people going to a party or going to a social function and they dress heavily, putting up appearances. Sometimes it's just because they feel inadequate. There's a bit of low self-esteem. And they just use that appearance to cover up whatever they're going through. And sometimes you get tired of all of these things and you just jump into one marriage and say, I beg, my mom is putting pressure on me too much. My dad is putting pressure on me too much. Okay, let me just bring a man home. Let me just marry this lady and let me just, say I'm married. But you're not happy. You don't really love the person. You don't even want the person. But you're only doing it for your parents. You're doing it for the society. You're doing it for people around you to say that, okay, now I'm married. I even know that some people even get married because of positions in the organization. Because when you at some point there are some organizations that if you're not married, you cannot attain some certain positions, and some people just rush into some of these things just because they want to attain those positions. And so at the end of the day, it just affects you as an individual. And all of these things, like I said, fosters unhealthy comparison, always measuring our journey against somebody else's, the way I like to say it, highlight reel. So it's what they call fear of missing out. When you begin to compare yourself, your entire life, your entire journey of life, and compare it with somebody's Instagram reel or Instagram video that is being posted, and that's why people begin to have too much pressure. You look at social media today, and you just look at somebody's highlight videos or short videos that he or she puts out there, and you begin to think about it and begin to lament and complain about your life and say, "Oh boys, look at this person! Look at how rich this person is! Look at the life this person is living." But the truth about it is that that's just the highlight video of somebody put together, putting up an appearance just for everybody to see. But in terms of the realness of that life, might not be there. But you now begin to compare your own entire journey of life with somebody else's highlight. And once you do those comparisons, it affects you mentally, emotionally, and socially. Yes, like you said, you can join the conversation. The phone lines are open, 09060992609, 07041007949. And you can call our WhatsApp line, drop a message, drop a voice note or a text or a chat message, 0958 09158494949. Okay, so when we look at all of this pressure, the first question that comes to mind is, okay, we've talked about the problems, we've talked about what goes on around us, but how do you cope and rise above it, which is very important because everybody's going through one pressure or the other. There's always pressure. And like one of the musicians said, problem not the finish. It will keep coming. It will keep coming. It will keep coming. So it's now left to you on how you deal with the pressure, how you manage the pressure, and how you rise above the pressure. Number one thing you need to do is you need to redefine success for yourself. What does success mean to you? How do you define success as an individual? Success is not one size fits all. That's not it. It's building a career before marriage. For others, it's family first. Everybody has their own definition of success. For some people, it's just having a child and they feel that they're successful. So it depends on what you define as success that makes you successful. So, but if you begin to look at other people's definition of success and putting that garment of success on yourself, then you begin to put yourself under unnecessary pressure. So you must be able to redefine success for your own self. Define it by your own words. Define it by your own way of life. What is success to you might not be success to somebody else. For some people, once I get married, I am good. Once they start calling me Mama so person, Mama X, Mommy Z, to them, their shoulder bad. Now like this it will be. For them, it's more or less like, yes, now I'm successful. For some people, it is about business. It's about how their finances keeps increasing and increasing and increasing. For some, it's about getting to the peak of their career. So you must define success your own way, and that is only what can give you happiness. Once you learn to define your milestones, then you're good. Don't define it based on what the society defines it as. Define it your own way and be able to live a peaceful life. If you're able to do that, then you don't have a problem. The pressure wouldn't affect you because you're defining it based on your own journey. Because you can't compare yourself with somebody, a young person who completes secondary school education at 15, gain admission almost at 16, finish university education by 20, and is already working at 21. While someone like me, maybe say, like I said, I finished secondary school education at 15, and I didn't get admission into university until age 19, 20. Already 4 years of my life is just hanging. So, do I want to compare myself with such a person? So I need to redefine my own success in a different way and begin to take it slow and steady, slow and steady, slow and steady. So don't define success based on societal definition or people around you defining it for you. Number 2 is just you need to silence the external voices. You need to silence the external voices. What are people telling you? What are you hearing? You need to silence that voice and listen to your own inner voice. A lot of things that are happening today now is more or less like you mute your own voice and listen to other people's voices. And when you listen to other people's voices, you're going to put yourself under unnecessary pressure because you're listening to what they're saying. You are expecting their own validation. You are expecting their own definition. And truth be told, no matter what they say, no matter how they say it, you must still define your own self. They will keep talking, they will keep saying the way it is. You know how people will say it now. Just like, when you go to where they are arguing about football, you hear somebody talking about football as if that person should go on the field to play, he will be better than the player he's condemning. Play it like this. Oh, kick it like this. You can catch the ball like this. Oh, that guy is not good. Oh, this is this. It's easy to say. It's easy to just explain. You can say whatever you want to say. But the truth about it is that that's not reality. So, external voices you hear, you keep hearing. People start talking. People explain things or define things. Or you should have done this. Or you can do it like this. Or why shouldn't they begin to question everything about you? And you begin to look at yourself that, oh, I thought I was doing well. I'll give you an example. While in university, that was the day I stopped. I was able to silence external voices. So I prepare for exams and I'm ready for exams. And I get into the exam hall. But I had a friend that was also very brilliant. So I was always depending on him to validate what I have read, to be sure that, okay, I'm on the right track. And so we write exams, we write assessment tests and all that. And we are out of the exam hall. And I'm like, okay, how far? How did it go? And the guy started talking about what he wrote and he's telling me so many things. And it's off what I actually wrote down. And in my head, I'll start wondering, damn, I failed this course. Because I assume that whatever he says is the correct thing. But lo and behold, I just started realizing that result comes out and I'm doing so well. I'm getting A's and he's not getting A's. I'll continue the story after this short break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Yeah, welcome back. You're still on to Mind Talk on Wash FM 94.9. And you with Dr. Slicks on the MIC. Like I said, I'm doing this solo tonight. And so we've been having a very interesting conversation, and we're talking about two major things. The first one is talking about the pressure cooker, looking at societal timelines, and we're also asking a question tonight. And the question is, what do you regret doing or not doing when you look back in time? You can join the conversation. Call the studio line 09060992609, 07041007949, and you can drop a message on WhatsApp or do a voice note or send a text message via 09158494949. So I was talking about a short story, talking about myself before we went on that very short break, talking about when you need to silence the external voices. And so, like I said, we're going to the exam hall. I read, I write my exams, I write my tests and all that. And my friend will also do the same. And after the exam, I'm like, okay, how far? How did it go? And he's telling me different things. So I wrote this, I wrote that. And I go back to my room and start crying and start wondering like, oh, I made such a big blunder. I didn't write this, I didn't add this, I didn't add that. Until, result comes out and I'm like, oh, what's going on? I'm doing so well, like get it way above, and he's just not doing so well. And I'm sort of wondering, like, I needed to start believing in myself. I needed to really believe in myself. I don't need other people to validate what I know. So afterward, I now started believing in myself. So I go into the exam hall, I write my exams, and even afterward, and I'm asking him, like, okay, how did it go? And he's telling me what he wrote and all that. I'm like, okay, fine, it's okay. But before, I would have been worried. I would have been crying. I would have been, so sad. But afterwards, when I realized, I saw the first result, second result, third result, and I saw consistency, and I started believing myself that, okay, so I need to just believe in myself. I need to listen to myself more rather than listen to external voices. So it is very, very important if you really want to protect your mental space. If you really want to protect yourself, you need to listen to yourself more and silence the external voices. It is very, very, very important. I'm not saying that you shouldn't get feedback from people. Yes, you can get feedback from people, whether positive or negative. Yeah, let them, give you a bit of feedback about certain things, about your career, about your personal space, whatever. They can give you feedback. But also, very importantly, believe in yourself more. No matter what, even if you're doing it in a way that is not really acceptable, listen to feedback. Have your mentors around you, have people around you, listen to it, take it, internalize it. But don't just take it hook, line, and sinker and say, okay, somebody have said, they've said, or they said, or he said, or she said. What are you telling your own self? What are you saying to your own self? It's very, very important. And so I'm going to take two more. And so, like I said, in process of listening to feedback, that means you need, very important thing is to build supportive circles, not people who begin to throw you under the bus. Surround yourself with people who celebrate your little wins, no matter how small, instead of those who will shame you because of the timelines and say that, oh, you should have achieved it. What are you celebrating? What do you think? Why are you laughing? What do you think you are doing well when others are doing this? So look for supportive circles, people that will support you. Surround yourself with positive-minded people that will support you and celebrate your little wins. It's very important for your mental health. It is very, very important. And number 4 is to begin to practice self-compassion. Remind yourself, I am not late. I am on my journey. I am not late. I am on my journey. You are never late for anything. So don't look at yourself that you are getting late. Oh, I should have achieved this. Oh, it's too late. Nothing is too late because you are the one defining your success. It is not what other people define for you. Nothing is too late for you. So don't look at yourself that you are running late. You are not running late for anything. Keep doing what you have to do. Keep trying. Keep pushing. And you would achieve it because you are on your journey. And it is a journey. It is not a sprint. You just keep doing what you have to do. Keep getting better. Keep focusing on that goal you want to achieve. So you are never late for anything, whether marriage, whether having children, whether getting, advancing your education, whatever thing you're trying to do, even in your business, whatever you're doing, you are never late. Oh, I've had this idea 5 years ago. I ought to have started this business. Oh, I needed to have done this. Don't worry. Just look for the right time. Put yourself together. Focus on your strength. Focus on what you have, not on what you don't have. Believe in yourself. And trust me, you are not running late. And lastly, it's very important is to focus on growth, not on timelines. So ask yourself, am I growing? Or am I getting better? Ask yourself those very important questions. Ask yourself those very important questions. Am I growing? Am I becoming better? That's more important than just ticking societal boxes. Because growth is very important. Growth is extremely important for you. It is not about the timelines. It is not about aspire to whatever. It is about growing your own self. Personal development. Ensuring that, okay, when you look at last year, look at this year, you look at next year, what has been the difference? Are you getting better? Are you developing yourself? Are you growing? Are things changing positively for you? Once you start having those kind of things, begin to appreciate and celebrate those little wins. No matter how little they are, it is very important. So I need you to understand all of these things. So those are just 5 ways you can cope and rise above talking about the pressure cooker. So it's almost like life is always a pressure cooker for everybody. Society keeps turning up the heat with expectations. But here's the truth. Just because others are cooking rice doesn't mean you must also cook rice. Who says you can't cook porridge? Who says you can't cook beans? Whatever anybody's cooking, let them cook and eat. You cook your own. Develop your own thing. Develop your own growth. Define your own growth. So some are making beans, some are making jollof, some are making soup. Your pot, your fire, your timing should be defined by your own self. The most important thing is to live a life that's authentic to you, not one borrowed from somebody else's stopwatch. So please let us understand all of these things and make sure that we take them to use. And that's where we will leave it on tonight's edition on Mind Talk with Dr. Slicks on Wash FM 94.9. Thank you for keeping me company and for opening your heart and mind to this conversation. Remember, life isn't a competition, and societal timelines don't define your worth. You are running your own race at your own pace in your own lane. Keep the conversations going after the show. You can always connect with me, Olusegun Odufor, Dr. Slicks, on all platforms.